This is a HeadGum podcast.
Hello and welcome to The Complete Guide to Everything, a podcast about everything. I'm one of your hosts, Tom.
I'm Tim.
Tim, how are you doing this week?
Not good.
Not good. Why not?
I stepped in dog crap yesterday.
Oh, on purpose or?
No, it was a total accident.
Oh, just like walking down the street?
Walking down the street.
And when it happened, did you go, crap?
I did. Well, I said a different word, Tom.
Effing crap.
I said, SH double hockey sticks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Chill.
Yeah. I was distracted. I was pushing a stroller. I was trying to get a snack for a toddler out. And I just stepped right in some. Tom.
Yeah.
You're a dog owner.
Yeah.
Apologize to me.
No, that's the thing. Like, Tim, I hate it more than anybody because I'm picking up shit all day. So when I see people not picking up shit, it makes me angry.
Yeah.
I'm doing my part.
Yeah, you're doing the
I have never left dog shit on the sidewalk.
Not even once. What about human shit?
Yeah, well, sometimes accidents happen. Yeah, of course. No, I think there was one time that I didn't have a bag that I had to like leave it for a few minutes while I went and got a bag. But I mean, that's also like...
Did you leave the dog there to guard it?
Yeah, I said, make sure nobody takes this. But that's also, I'm walking my dog on my block, and would never want somebody to see me not pick up dog shit and then forever be like, that's that asshole that doesn't pick up dog shit.
There's a guy like that on my block or like a block away.
That doesn't pick up dog shit?
Yeah,
wow.
But he also has these really big pit bulls he's an intimidating guy. And it just seems like if you ever said anything to him, he'd unleash the pit bulls on you.
Yeah, that's the alternative. Yeah,
and then you would become the shit.
Yeah, in time, yes.
Yeah.
I have a doxy, so a dachshund. So it's she's not very threatening. I can't rely on nobody coming up to me because she would bite them or anything like that.
Well, I commend you, Tom.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you. Was that why you brought it up? You just wanted to find a way to compliment me?
Yeah. Well, now I have another question.
Okay.
So you're good in that way.
Yeah.
Can I ask you this?
Okay.
Do you ever do this move when you're walking the dog leashed? Where you let the leash go out and you're looking at your phone, and then you're walking on one side of the sidewalk. Your dog is all the way on the other side of the sidewalk. The leash is blocking it, and you're oblivious because you're just looking down at your goddamn phone.
No, I've seen people do that, and I do not do that either.
To me, I just want to be like, then don't have a dog.
Yeah, if you love your phone so much. No, because my dog's like very bad at she's very good on a leash. Like she doesn't pull or anything like that. But she'll just follow her nose within the radius of the leash. Yeah. So I have to, it's constantly happening where she will go to the other side of the sidewalk to smell, probably, to be honest, other poop that's been left there.
Yeah.
But
look, and I wouldn't fault you for like not chasing after her if you got a clear sidewalk there.
Yeah.
But if there's someone behind you, in a rush walking,
I don't like her getting used to it. I like telling her, we got to pick a side here. We got to both be on the same side. We can't block the whole sidewalk because dogs can be very rude. Dogs don't understand that they're in the way often. I've had that happen where people are walking. It's like, all right, well, neither the person nor the dog is moving out of the way. There's only one I blame in this situation.
Yeah. Like if you're going to look at your phone.
Yeah.
Then, if I was walking down the street,
I look at my phone while I'm walking the dog, but I'm rarely like glued to it. You know?
What are you watching on that thing?
I'm usually not watching anything.
Are you watching the clip of the Hawk Tua girl over and over again?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what she's talking about.
You'll crack it one day.
I know. She's in big trouble, Tim.
Hey, Hawk Tua girl in hot water.
Hawk Tua in hot water. First off, I'd like to bring up again, Tim,
Oh no, you can't.
A lot of steam picking up behind my joke.
The joke that you made on a paywalled episode at the very end a week ago.
Yeah, Tim, okay. And that's how you test the best jokes. You make them as hard to find as possible.
Yeah, and it's still
out of that cage. Breaking out. I think it was trending on a few different websites.
Do you want to repeat it here?
Tim, it's Chua. You got to sneeze on that thing.
Right, uh-huh.
That's the joke.
Yeah. It's a seasonal variant of the Hawk Tua.
Yeah, it's for the holidays when, people are coming down with a lot of colds.
It's the cold and flu season version.
Yeah. But she came out with a cryptocurrency.
Yeah,
Tim.
as one
a crypto
does.
coin.
As you do when you're a, big celebrity.
Yeah. And people were mad because some people thought this was going to be like a very good way to get rich.
And it turned out to be like every single other one of these coin launches.
Yeah.
Like literally every single one of them is just a pump and dump scheme.
Like that's the whole point. Like why else? There's nothing that is going to be better about a Hawk Tua coin. Any of these, they're called meme coins, Tim.
Right.
You're betting on somebody else getting caught holding the bag.
Right.
Nobody's going like, I'm going to invest in this. I think this might be the future of payments. Hawk Tua coin. I think this is going to be probably how my retirement is held, and I'm going to start paying for things in Hawk Tua coin.
She's captured the cultural attention, right?
Well, yeah. Why not capture the financial sector?
Exactly. I mean, that's the only thing she has left to conquer.
Yeah.
The only kingdom is our financial system.
So basically, what happened was like 97% of this coin, like her and like the people behind all this, because that's the thing. These
giant boyfriend.
People come to these internet celebrities and they go, hey, how would you like to make, in this case it was $125,000 at least. That's just what we'll pay you for the marketing for like your licensing your meme or whatever,
right?
And pushing it out there. We'll pay you $125,000 to let us rip off all of your fans.
This will briefly have a value of $500 million. But then 20 minutes later, it'll be worthless.
It will be almost completely worthless. So, they opened up the market to the other 3% of coins that were available. But, it was really just everybody else sold all their coins to those suckers. And then that was it. That's that. But also they were charging like crazy fees on it. So they also made like a couple of million on fees.
Pretty good. Like, you got to hand it to the Hawk Tua girl.
Yeah.
If she was smart.
Yeah.
This is what I always say. Nobody ever sticks to my plan. You make a couple million, get out of Dodge. Just live modestly for the rest of your life. Never talk to anybody
Tom
again.
from MySpace did it.
Yeah. Do a Tom from MySpace. Just cash out. It doesn't need to be cash out at $1 billion.
No, I think I think when MySpace sold, it was one of those like insane. It sold for
like $50 million.
Yeah, or like $80 million. Maybe it was $800 million, but I don't know.
It couldn't have been that much because Instagram was like 8 years later, right? And that was $1 billion. And
that was
like,
insane.
What the hell, right?
Yeah. But it was more than enough money for any reasonable person to need, and he's apparently just out there enjoying his life.
But the Hawk Tua girl was like walking down the street, right? And some guy asked her a randy question.
Yeah, drunk from a bar.
Yeah.
Probably closing time. I think that's probably when those like man on the street TikTokers like go to feast on their prey.
You know better than me.
Yeah. I see him out there.
You were briefly a man on the street TikTok interviewer.
Yeah, but everybody kept saying, "Get out of here, you weirdo! You're too old to be here asking these questions."
Stop talking to these young women.
Stop asking them to say on camera, "Achua, you gotta sneeze on that thing," while you hold up a matching shirt with a price tag on it.
I'll give her credit.
Yeah.
Honestly, like the fact
she's one of the best interviewers out there.
I don't know. I thought she was very good on Club Random, Tom.
Was she on that?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, Bill Maher had her on Club Random.
Wow. This talk stand up.
Yeah, they mostly talked about stand up in the early 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, a lot of people go viral for something. And they can't get to the point where they have a crypto pump and dump thing where they walk away with several millions of dollars, right? Like, she rode this wave for 6 months at this point?
Oh, yeah. More? No, I mean, part of me,
the corn kid, who is a better person, I think.
Yeah.
Like,
by virtue of just being a child and not being famous for something vulgar.
Yeah, he just likes corn. He's not he wishes he could do a crypto bump and dump.
I don't know if he wishes he could do a crypto bump and dump. But at the same time, I don't know, because it's like, she's ripping off her fans, but it's like, does she have fans though? Like, are there people that are like, I'm gonna follow her every move? And
also, like, for her, like, she's not an entertainer. It's like, oh no, my fans, they won't buy tickets to my next concert. Like, there's nothing.
But she's got that podcast.
Yeah, but that was like,
podcasts
like that are a pump and dump scheme of their own.
Yeah, but it's like, I don't know, it's a more honest pump and dump scheme.
Yeah.
Podcast, a more honest pump and dump scheme. Tim, this week, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to record. I've got a snow day.
Yeah, we all have a snow day. You don't have, not one person has a snow day. It's not a sick day. If it's a snow day, we both have off. And the teachers too.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that, but me and Tim both have on-set tutors for the podcast, which is honestly, I'm not learning as much as I thought I would.
No, it's been taking a long time to get through, kind of like each grade level.
Yeah, just like intermediate Spanish.
Yeah, I thought we'd breeze through it.
Yeah. Yes. No, snow days sometimes would, because we had the school we went to, there were buses that also had to go to the beach, which was on an island.
Yeah.
And they would sometimes get snow days that the rest of us
didn't. This is a loophole because 5 kids couldn't come to school and they had an excused absence doesn't mean what
was their excused absence? A snow day.
Also, all those people that lived at the beach were weird.
Yeah, of course. They lived at the beach. They lived on a very small island by themselves.
Yeah, the beach kids couldn't make it today. We're fine with it.
Yeah.
It could have been snowing. It could have been any excuse.
Normally, a bus has to drive 45 minutes to go get them every day because they insist on living on that damn beach.
I'd like to live on the beach. Not the beach from Lost and not the beach from Old.
No, it was just the beach at our town. It was also very confusing because they had different school buses, of course, and they all had colors, but then one was just called Beach because that was the bus that went to the beach, which I guess I'm glad, just simplify it.
Yeah.
For that. But I swear to God, in elementary school, I thought, there's a color called beach.
Yeah. I thought it was, I conflated it with beige probably because beach kind of sounds like beige.
I think it was how peach is a thing and a color. It's I guess beach is that's the color of sand, probably beach.
You know what bus I rode to school?
What bus?
Pink bus.
Wow. You must have gotten bullied.
Yeah, by you. The closest I ever came to getting bullied in my life was by you in high school.
I didn't know you when you took the pink bus.
Yeah, not for that.
Yeah. Yeah, it was later. But I'm saying I wish I had known about that. That would have been another one for the old quiver.
Now, what I thought was, my mom and dad told me, you're on the pink bus, so you go to the bus stop and then the bus will come and like get on the pink bus. Yeah. I thought the whole bus would be painted pink.
Oh, that does make sense.
No, they just put a piece of pink construction paper in the side window.
Yeah, you think they would at least like do the side paneling in that color or something?
No.
What?
Why would they go to all that
not
trouble?
Not the side paneling, just like the stripe. The black stripe. Make that the color. That'd be cool. That'd be nice.
Yeah, at whose expense?
You could do that with a roll of painter's tape.
Sure, but it was just as easy to put up a pink piece of construction paper in the window.
It might have been just as easy, Tim, but it wasn't. I don't know. Didn't make anybody's childhood more magical.
It's pretty. No, Tom. The pink bus was the actual magic school bus.
Oh, wow.
Frizzle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it did make it quite. Was the magic school bus? Did it like shrink down and?
Yeah, I think it was the school bus. I don't think she had powers. It was like the bus that had powers.
Yeah, I never got into the magic school bus stuff. Were we too old for it? Or there was like an original version that was not very compelling to me, and then there was another version where they made Miss Frizzle, I think, a babe.
Yeah, they came out with like another cartoon when we were too old. I think that has and I was
its
like,
fans. Oh man, they made her pretty this time. And now I'm too old to appreciate it. I gotta pretend to like basketball instead.
I mean, this is all I ever really wanted. But yeah, well, it's good we're talking about buses when it comes to snow days, Tim, because that's where this whole idea comes from.
Yeah.
That's what the origin of
Snow day, we're talking about days off specifically from school, or are we talking work too?
We're talking both. Just the concept of a snow day.
Yeah. Hey, you get the day off.
Yeah.
It snowed. It snowed so much. Look, we're shutting everything down. Which we don't do anymore. Why, Tom? Because of woke.
Because of woke.
Or because of Zoom.
Oh, right. Zoom and woke. Do you think Zoom and woke are the same thing?
I think it's conflated because people are
they
just
both
like,
came around about the same time.
Yeah, and it was like, oh, those both made me angry.
Yeah,
and
those
the only reason we had to do everything on Zoom was because of woke.
Those 4-letter words that are start with letters all the way at the end of the alphabet.
Got a O as a second letter.
Yeah, I'm trying to work my way through the dictionary. I'm not up to those words yet. I don't know what they mean. But yeah, they came about because
snow days.
Yeah, because of busing. Like when busing became more widespread in schools,
right?
Buses. I don't know, buses aren't good in like anything, right? Like school buses. Like any kind, like what are they
not
good at driving? Like conditions, aside from like perfect conditions.
I mean, I don't know.
You were never. I feel like I was on a lot of buses that broke down. A lot of school buses that broke down. Yeah, I mean,
maybe they should have spent more time doing maintenance on the engine and less time putting stripes of different colors on the side.
You know what, Tim? Maybe you're right. Yeah, because I didn't have to take the bus to school because I lived close enough to the school, which I still think is kind of bullshit. Because I don't know, did I live like that much closer to the school than you?
Yes. You live significantly closer to the school than I did.
Yeah, but you still live pretty close to the school too.
Which school are you talking about?
Any school. You name the school. The high school.
The high school?
Yeah.
I didn't get a bus to the high school.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind then. Was it an option for you?
No.
No?
No.
Too close.
Too close. I don't think any buses. I mean, the beach bus went to the high school.
Yeah, that was it. The beach bus went to the high school.
These freaking beach kids.
Yeah, because it was like, all right, everybody, time to grow up. It's high school now. No more school buses, except for the beach bus, of course. But yeah, at some point, I guess they're just like you find your own way to school.
Yeah. Also, the people in the town voted down the budget that would have provided for buses. They're like, oh, we're not going to pay for that. No.
Yeah. Now I'm remembering
so
that.
a bunch of 16-year-olds could ride the bus. No.
Yeah.
The town is 1 square mile. Like, everybody can figure out how to get to school.
I'm remembering that now because I'm remembering that was also the year where they were like, well, no sports this year, everybody. Yeah. It's like, wait, what? And they're like, oh, a bunch of old people don't want to pay, $10 more in taxes. So there was no money.
And then they were like, oh, okay, wait, we're going to rerun the budget here. We'll put sports back in, but we'll keep buses out. And everybody's like, okay, that's cool.
Well, no, before that, they reran the budget and said, okay, popular sports are back.
All right.
But popular sports, which are also presumably the most expensive for the school to, like football had multiple coaches and equipment.
All those pads, Tom.
All those pads, they have to be replaced every game. But yeah.
I always thought that was wasteful, the way that they burned all the pads after every game.
It's tradition. You can't fight with tradition.
And they were like, we don't want them to get stinky with all the sweat in them. Just burn them. We'll get new ones.
Yeah. I mean, they were stinky. They had a good point.
Yeah.
So I never rode the bus to school, but I did ride the bus in sports. Mm-hmm. And then especially...
You're a real sporto, weren't you?
Yeah. But especially 11th grade, they were redoing the soccer field, or the pitch, as it were. And we had to go to a different town to practice. So we had to take the bus every day to the soccer fields.
Okay.
And the
bus sucked?
And the bus...
When it rained, it broke down?
Yeah. Like the bus just broke down all the time. We had like a 45-minute drive every day, each way. It was ridiculous. And the bus would break down. They gave us like the worst bus.
Done? I would have not played soccer if I were you.
Yeah. Also like the place where we went to practice was very dangerous. One time when we were like jogging, this guy like opened up his jacket to show us he had a gun. Just like we were just minding our own business, doing warm-ups.
A bunch of shitty high school kids.
Yeah, well,
you weren't minding your own business.
No, because we were already scared of the guy. Like, he was wearing a trench coat. We were already like, all right, let's leave that guy alone. Then he was like, hey, look at this.
What's extra? Leave him alone now.
Yeah, exactly.
Now that we know that he's armed with a firearm for some reason.
Luckily we were already running. So it was like, all right, just keep doing what we're doing, boys. Yeah. That's what I yelled to the team. I was the captain.
All right, Tom, what does this have to do with snow days? This is a winter episode.
Well, I'm just saying buses,
Christmas month.
Buses can't do well in the snow, so that's why they have snow days.
Right.
And I think that's why we didn't have a ton of snow days, I feel like, growing up.
I think we had so many snow days.
Really?
Yeah.
At least in high school we didn't, I think, because of the buses. That
and
they
also
were like,
because of global warming.
Yeah. But I don't know.
We don't have,
when it's warm, there isn't snow.
Right.
Yeah.
So we didn't have
Yeah, we didn't have it. That's what I'm saying.
But earlier, Tom, I
before
remember
global warming.
Yeah, 1996, before the world was warming at all.
Yeah.
I feel like we had a lot of snow days. We had a lot of big snowfalls. I don't know. I remember them fondly. Those were some of the best days of my life, Tom.
Do you also think the teachers didn't give us enough homework?
What?
Were you complaining that you had too many snow days? I'm saying we should have had more.
We had so many, and that they were some of the best days of my life.
Yeah, and we should have had more. Wouldn't it have been
exactly.
Nice?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No, I don't think we should have more of the best days of my life.
If you're out there saying, I think we had a lot of snow days, then how are we ever going to get more? if they hear us,
well, we work on the snow machine, Tom, that I've been dying to put all of our money into. But no, you had to put all your money into the Hawk Tuah coin.
Tim,
that was supposed to build a snow machine so we could get more snow days.
Once this dips over and it starts climbing back up.
You held on to it, right?
Tim, okay. Yeah, I got diamond hands. I'm holding on to that Octua coin. I'm never going to sell it.
No.
I don't care.
Your grandchildren should have that coin.
They should
you can borrow against that.
My dream, Tim, is for my grandchildren to pay for a trip to the moon with Octua coin. What was I going to say?
Snow days, building forts. Did you believe in the
Santa
superstition of if you wear your pajamas inside out?
I was not even. I was reading about these superstitions. I was not aware of any superstitions because I would have done it.
Yeah, well, I did do it.
Oh, okay. Well, you should spread the word. I feel like we lived on
different planets.
We were in different
you
grades.
Lived a lot closer to the school than I did.
Yeah. Well, definitely the grade school. Like I lived a couple of blocks from the grade school. I was walking to school in second grade, like walking back and forth to school, no problem, because it was, and like, that's not just like, oh, things were different back then. It was just, I lived close enough to the school that.
And you were very smart.
That like, I think technically my mom probably could have like seen me for like at least half of the walk.
Yeah, I drove by your house the other day, Tom.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You didn't egg it or anything? Or
no, I pointed out to my wife. I was like, hey, that's where Tom lived. That's where his mom lives now. And she's just like, you drive by and tell me that every time we're in your hometown.
Right. She's like, I get
I've driven by that house. Like, she dropped me off there one time before AJ. So she's like, yeah, I know. I know this.
I do the same thing to your parents' house when I'm back home. But I don't drive past it. I don't have a reason, but I drive past the street. So I'll always say to Laura, like, yeah, that's where Tim's parents live, down that street.
Actually, hey, it's good conversation started.
Yeah, it really got the ball rolling.
We also drove by the street that your brother lives on.
Oh, well, there's another conversation starter.
I was like, hey, that's where Tom's brother lives. I think it's one of these streets.
Yeah. But I was gonna say,
and she's like, "Oh, cool. Is this house nice?" I was like, "I don't know.
I don't know which house it is." The superstition thing I was not aware of. Do you know of the other? I was reading about some of the other superstitions besides just sleeping with your pajamas on inside out the night before.
That was widespread enough that it reached the internet.
Yeah.
In 2024.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That was the most common one I saw.
Yeah, it's a good one.
That's a good one. It feels like, I'm just thinking of when Randy Quaid wore his Indians hat inside out for the Major League movies when the Cleveland
Quaid.
Indians. Yeah, remember he was in the
Randy Quaid was in the Major League movies?
Yeah, wasn't he the one of the like hecklers in the stands,
one
of the fans? Yeah.
It's been a while since I've seen
But I remember, that what does that mean when people wear their
rally
baseball?
cap?
Yeah. Like, we got to get a rally going. So it's like, it makes sense that wear your pajamas inside. Hey, we got to get a rally of snow going here.
Can I tell you something, Tom, about these billboards that I saw?
What's that?
This is last weekend driving up to Massachusetts.
Okay.
On I-95.
Does this have anything to do with what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it does. It's Christmas themed and it's Randy Quaid themed.
Oh, okay.
For some reason, there are billboards for it's just all these law firms.
Yeah, I've noticed that too, driving for the holidays.
And there's this one, there are a couple that just buy out so many billboards, some of these firms.
Yeah.
And one of them's this lady.
Mm-hmm.
And it's don't let
a
car accident.
Is it the Octua girl?
It's not the Octua girl, but it might be her mom.
Okay.
By the looks of her.
Okay. Well, do they accept Octua coin?
I'm sure they do. Everywhere it does. It's the law. It says, don't let an accident ruin your Christmas vacation. And it's a picture of, in 2024, this lawyer, this lady, Chevy Chase, Beverly D'Angelo, and Randy Quaid.
What?
Right?
Wow. I thought he was still on the run or something.
I thought he was like, he fled to Canada.
Yeah.
And I thought like Chevy Chase wouldn't like.
Yeah.
They had the Christmas Vacation font too.
Yeah, wow.
And like,
so she licensed all this from them?
And then there were variations of it. Like there were like 20 more billboards on the like it's just her with Chevy Chase, just her with Beverly D'Angelo.
Was it
there
like
wasn't
a
just
photo
one
shoot? Or did it look like she met them at a party or something? And
it was at first I was like, oh, is this like a Comic-Con thing?
Yeah,
or like
a
low rent Comic-Con thing?
Yeah.
But like, no, there were a number of setups. Like there was one with individually with her and each person, each in a different pose. Like, it was a wild series of billboards.
It is wild, Tim. I wanna watch a Netflix 3-part documentary about how these billboards came to be.
Yeah, I want to watch that 3-part documentary and be like, that could have been an hour and 45-minute documentary.
But because honestly, you just need one of those people to make like the Christmas face. Like, that's got to be expensive to get all 3.
But we're talking about it now, and also like,
but we don't know her name. This isn't good advertising.
That's true.
And also, like, are these year-round billboards? Are these just
no? They switch them out. I've seen this lady on another seasonally appropriate billboard before.
It's like with the Casa Baywatch during the summer or something like that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yasmin Bleeth.
Wow, can you imagine that? You drive right off the road if you saw that.
Yeah, no, they had to take that down.
They had to take this down. It was too distracting to drivers.
They're like, oh, this is how you're getting new clients.
Yeah.
Just like a car accident.
No, the perfect crime.
And I was like, I'd like to sue Yasmin Bleeth. And she's like, great, I know her address. I'll serve her with papers.
Oh, yeah. Well, no loyalty between lifeguards and lawyers.
That's what they say.
Some of the other superstitions that can help you maybe get a.
Oh wait, can I just say about the inside out?
Sure.
The inside out thing. As a kid, going to bed and like the news is like, oh, like the weather report for tomorrow, and like,
the weather reports used to be very bad. Like when we were kids, the weather was often just completely inaccurate.
Yeah, I'd like that job. You'd be wrong half the time, and you still get paid.
Yeah, it's not like now where when they tell you what the weather is going to be, that is what it's going to be.
But they would always be like, oh, and then you'd be like, oh, Mom, can I put my pajamas on inside out? She's like, I don't give a shit what you do.
Yeah.
I don't know if your mom talked to you like that. That's how my mom talked to me.
Yeah, but everybody's going to see your shit stains.
But there's nothing worse than like going to bed with such hope in your
high
heart,
hopes,
and then waking up to no snow or very little snow, and your pajamas are on inside out, making you feel like a fool, and also like reminding you of all the hope you had in your heart the night before.
It probably like rattles your faith in God at that point too.
Yeah,
I did everything.
Yeah,
Lord.
I did what the Bible said. I turned my pajamas inside out.
Yeah,
I'm supposed to have the day off from school.
The other superstitions that some people do is they'll put a spoon in the fridge or under their pillow.
A spoon in the fridge?
Yeah.
There's probably a spoon.
Or in the freezer, I think.
Okay.
And then there's one about putting a white crayon in the freezer.
A white crayon to symbolize snow.
I guess.
And a cold white crayon resembles snow.
Yeah.
In my book.
Then one that sounds, honestly, to me, more like pseudoscience than superstition. Flushing ice cubes down the toilet.
I think that's like a backup plan. Like, oh, maybe you could fuck up the town's plumbing.
Maybe we could just freeze all the pipes. But yeah, those are the more common. I think there's probably like a million of them, but those seem like the most common ones.
Right.
The pajamas inside out, something to do with spoons or putting something in the freezer, and flushing ice cubes down the toilet.
Well, I think I feel like you have flushed ice cubes down the toilet for some reason.
I mean, I'm sure I have, like not like I took them out of the ice cube tray and did it.
You know what you did one time?
What?
Like 16 years ago when we were roommates.
What?
You're eating a bowl of soup. And you didn't finish it. And instead of like putting it in the garbage, you dumped it and you strode into the bathroom and you dumped it in the toilet and flushed the rest of your soup down the toilet.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
Is that how you regularly dispose of soup?
No, but I mean, why is that so much different than putting it down the sink? I know, you just
did it so confidently.
It's a good way to get rid of it. Yeah, probably the boys at the waste treatment plant, they're like, what the heck? Well, I guess some undigested soup got through. It's fine.
Yeah.
I encourage it.
All right. It was puzzling, and it made sense. I was like, well, this is a good way to dispose of soup. It's not going to make the garbage all wet.
Yeah. That's probably why I did it. It was probably like soup with chunks or something like that.
Yeah, probably.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, what were you eating, like broth?
Yeah, I thought it was like tomato soup. That's the soup I'm most often eating nowadays.
Yeah, but Tom, this was the halcyon days of 2007.
Yeah, so like I could see if it was like chicken noodle soup or something. Yeah, I'm going to dump that in the sink, and then I'm going to have to fish out all the noodles. Nah, put it all in the toilet. Mm-hmm. Send it all back to hell. One thing that I've recently learned, which like totally makes sense, but it just kind of came as a shock to me, is the fact that like now people get text messages to tell them that there's a snow day. You don't have to watch the local news. And especially like our district, we were so small that there were a lot of times you're watching the news and it's like, are they even going to report on us one way or another?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Like this affects so few people. Because as you mentioned, like our town is like 1 square mile. It's not that we like grew up out in the sticks or anything. It was just the way the lines were drawn up. It was a very tiny town.
I always thought it was bullshit too, because like, you have cousins in other towns or like friends in other towns, like limited friends in other towns. How would you even meet these kids? Like mixers.
No.
But like, it'd be like islip.
Yeah.
School's closed. Mm-hmm. And they'd be like, oh, cool. That's just one town over. And then when you're
West
open,
Babylon, it's like they're right next door.
And then they get
they got the same snow we got.
Yeah. And we're open.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I feel like that happened a lot because we were small and they would just go, all right, the beach kids, you don't have to come to school. Everybody else does because you don't live that far away. It's fine.
Right. Well, and these beach kids, I think it was horrific when there was a snowstorm for the beach kids. Though. I don't think I would have.
Well, they can't come to school. They're desperately trying to save their house along with the rest of their family.
I found the lawyer. Look.
Oh, wow.
The lawyer's Instagram, Tom.
Yeah.
You got Chevy Chase. He did a video for her, too.
I mean, this looks like pretty professionally shot, Tim.
Yeah.
I'm excited to watch these.
Oh, she always gets celebrities. She had Mike Tyson in one of her billboards. She had
she
Vanilla
must be a
Ice,
big deal.
Ice Baby. Don't slip and fall on Ice Baby. Call Golf Law.
She must be one hell of a lawyer.
Yeah.
How come she's on the Supreme Court?
She might be the hawk to a girl's cousin, maybe.
I think she's a little too old, but I don't know. Sometimes cousins can be.
I've younger and older cousins.
You have a shocking amount of elderly cousins that you're always insisting hang out with us, and it's weird.
Those aren't my cousins. I was thinking, is this a good joke, Tom? I don't think it's a good joke. You know how like people have like,
Tim, I don't want you to compare things to my Achua joke. They can't all be that.
I'm trying to crack it. This is people say like, this is my half brother, and it's like, what? You have one parent in common?
Yeah. I know what a half brother is.
I was gonna introduce my son as my half son. I was like, it's because I'm not both parents.
Very confusing.
That doesn't make sense. No?
Very confusing.
Okay.
So introducing your son as your half son sounds like there's some kind of very complicated legal custody battle going on.
Yeah, I guess so. I think
is
the
my
joke would
half-son.
ultimately be that I didn't have an understanding of how phrases worked, but also like that's no way to introduce a 3-year-old to someone being like, and I'm a real dumb guy who probably shouldn't be raising him.
Yeah. This is my half son. Yeah, social services is also his parent. Yeah. I got notes about economic impacts. Whenever they like have to close a bunch of stuff, and when they're like, "Oh, everybody lost $1 billion today," don't you always find that like, no, they didn't.
Yeah, I'm always like, who cares? No, you know what? Everybody had a good time is what happened.
Well, it's not that. That's like everybody hung on to their money for a day. They didn't go out and trade it all willy-nilly like they always do. It's fine. We can have a day or two where nobody makes that much money. It's we all just go on sleds.
Yeah. Do you ever think that like the whole economy is just like based on like a shared delusion of like, we're going to say like this is how much productivity happens in a day, and like that translates to a dollar figure, but it's like, no, it doesn't.
Yeah, because I remember they would do things like I feel like when Flappy Bird came out, they were like, $11 billion has been lost because of this like a slightly addictive game that people are playing. It's like, what? That's not like how you can't measure everything that way.
And also, like, no, it's just people happen to be like distracted by the same thing.
Yeah,
people would be like shirking their responsibilities.
Exactly,
in
it's
other
not
ways.
like most people are working every second of the day, but this came along.
Yeah.
Ooh. But yeah, I mean, our entire economy is a shared delusion.
Yeah, pretty cool to think about it that way.
Yeah,
but like,
don't think about it too hard; it'll break the illusion.
But that was I think that was the thing. Like, once we had the technology in COVID, they're like, we can do school over Zoom.
Yeah.
Okay, just do that. And I do understand, Tom.
Mm-hmm.
I think when they close the schools for a snow day, I think they just have to like be like, now as a parent, I know this. As a society,
does fuck with everybody's.
Yeah, as a society, we should just be like, okay, the whole local, area.
Everything's got to shut down.
Everything's a snow day.
Yeah,
which is cool.
Yeah, it'd be great unless you want like a cup of coffee or something.
You make your own goddamn coffee.
You could have some entrepreneurs out there charging whatever they want.
Exactly.
Whatever the market will
gouge.
Bear. Yeah.
Close down society and let some enterprising people gouge the rest of us.
That's a kind of
we can all
industriousness
take one
the country's
day of
built on.
Gouging.
I read this, but I had trouble finding a backup that or like sourcing. That in 1996, Syracuse, New York had a record-breaking 16 snow days in one winter due to massive snowfall.
16?
Yes, not in a row.
That doesn't seem that. For like upstate New York?
Yeah, but that was the blizzard of 96. Do you remember that?
I remember that, Tom.
Yeah.
I drove upstate in it.
You did?
Yeah.
You were too young to be driving.
I know, which made it doubly stupid.
Why were you driving upstate?
We were.
That's where all the snow was. That's where the blizzard was.
It was a thing where like my family and a bunch of other families were like going to a place called Frost Valley, Tom.
Oh boy!
Remember when we all post COVID went to that like those cabins?
Oh yeah.
Right down the street from that was Frost Valley.
Okay.
But they like came and like got us at the beginning, like kept us out of school to like go. And then like my parents still talk about it to this day, like got halfway up there and we're like, we're gonna die on this road. And my parents were literally like, what have we done? And it was just like, turning around will be just as bad as just getting there. And they're like, we're just like,
we'll just white knuckle it.
Yeah, and like, well, this is the end of our family. And we got there and it was fine. It's fine.
Your parents were just having this conversation out loud, like, well, I guess this is the end of our family.
No, they told me about this now. When we got there were a lot of people that you knew there, but like it was like 3 feet of snow. We had to wear, like, if you wanted to go outside, you had to wear snowshoes.
Oh, nice.
And James didn't, and
fell through the
well,
snow.
no, he like jumped off of him and fell through the snow, and like he had to be rescued out of the snow.
Yeah, snow's no joke.
Yeah.
What was your favorite thing to do during a snow day, Tim?
You know what? Dick around with the local friends.
Yeah, local riffraff.
Yeah, we would go. There was a church parking lot near us. We'd build snow forts all day.
I was gonna say, like, I don't really have too many memories of snow, because a lot of times the snow days, like, it was because it wasn't because it was actively snowing. It was because there was so much snow already.
Right.
Which was great. Like, if it was actively snowing, then it was like, I guess I'll just like stay inside. I would still go outside.
You go out in the snow, Tom.
Yeah, but I'm saying if it was like blizzard conditions, like really come down, but you'd still go outside. But
that was like a back in the day, like, I feel like it was like, oh, the weather's crazy outside. Go see what it's like, child. And if it's fine, don't you come back in a couple hours, I guess.
Yeah.
I'll trust your judgment.
Yeah, I don't remember the snow ever being, like, a blizzard ever being so bad that I wasn't allowed outside. Maybe I was told, like, you can't go to so-and-so's house because it's too far. But, like, if you want to go in the backyard, yeah, fine, whatever. If you want to, like, go to somebody's house you can walk to and not have to ride your bike, fine. Right. But that was the best thing to do, was just build snow forts. Like, I remember, like, snowball fights.
Snowball fights are fun for 10 seconds.
Snowball fights are overrated.
It sucks to get hit with a snowball.
Yeah, there's...
It's not that satisfying to hit somebody with one.
No, there's like a very fine line between like a satisfying snowball hit and a dangerous one.
Yeah.
And then a lot of times if the snow is like too powdery, it was like, well, this isn't satisfying at all. So yeah, they're fun for like a couple of minutes, or fun intermittently.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a snowball and then throw it at this person.
Yeah, I think we always started out every snow day with like grand plans of like, we'll have multiple snow forts and we'll be like battling from them.
I like kind of did. Yeah, you would like start to do that.
And then you'd like build up a whole arsenal of, you'd like spend like 20 minutes making like just a ton of.
Yeah, and then they all get frozen together.
Yeah, of snowballs, and they all got frozen together. And also, like, I don't know, it was more fun just build. And that's when I realized, hey,
I should be an engineer.
Less time fighting and more time building something together. Cooperation.
Why you're such a well-known peace advocate nowadays. Building forts was by far the most fun thing to do, though. Especially if you mentioned a parking lot. If you got to a parking lot where they had plowed all the snow into some kind of a corner, maybe, and that had created a huge buildup.
The best is when they did that and then it snowed some more. So then there was like snow everywhere. And then just like these drifts that were like man-made. Yeah. So like it was like there was no pavement to be seen.
No. Yeah, that was fun. I remember building some probably truly dangerous forts in actually the commuter parking lot for the train station by the baseball fields. I'm just telling Tim about this. I don't expect anybody else to know what I'm talking about. But I remember there being one year where there was like so much snow that I remember there was still snow. That pile lasted until like May. It took so long to melt, and it was just in the shadow. And I remember building like a series of like tunnels that was probably truly terrifying if I somehow saw it now.
Have you ever been in a fort when it collapsed?
Yes.
Yeah, it stinks.
Yeah, it does stink.
It's worse than getting hit with a snowball.
Yeah, I mean, I remember being in forts that collapsed that were like genuinely scary. Of like, oh no,
I cannot breathe.
Yeah, I'm under a lot of snow and I can't get up. I'm gonna have to partially rely on the person that just collapsed the snow fort on me to not just go home and help me get back out. But snowmen, did you do snowmen a lot?
liked it. I was always underwhelmed with my snowmen because I read a lot of Calvin and Hobbes.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm going to do some subversive snowmen like Calvin. And like, you can't. It's hard.
Yeah,
like,
you need a lot of snow. And...
Yeah, and like, I'm not good at art. What makes me think that like, oh, I could be a snow artist?
Yeah. Did you have a corncob pipe at the ready for the guy though?
Well, no, I had a corncob pipe for myself.
Right. You don't want to give it to the snowman.
No, get it all wet giving it to him.
I was reading too about how frequent snow days can disrupt the academic calendar. Some studies suggest that unexpected closures negatively impact student learning and performance, especially in regions where snow days are common. What do you think about that?
I'm sure there's got to be like
it makes that big of a difference. Like I remember
they give you 3 months off every year.
Yeah,
and like it never occurred to me, but like that is like as a kid, but like that is a concern where it's like we teach so much, and then like kids, you can go do whatever the fuck you want for like a quarter of the year.
Yeah.
And like most kids a lot of kids come back just dumb in September.
I mean, I remember like
you're like, oh no, I forgot all that. I'm a kid.
Yeah.
And you just taught it to me, and then I stopped thinking about it for a real long time.
That was definitely. I remember that specifically with math. It was like every summer I forgot how anything beyond basic arithmetic worked.
Yeah. And it was like it to some extent was like riding a bike.
Yeah.
But like to progress, they had to be like, all right, let's do a recap.
Yeah, we have to reteach you
everything.
Everything. And hope that enough of you are going to go like, oh, right.
Yeah.
But inevitably, some of you are never going to do that. And you're just going to be behind forever.
Yeah. I think that's why they had summer reading for like, for the
so we didn't forget how to read.
Yeah, no, like I think like a second grader stops reading for 3 months. They come back there. It's like, we're doing this still? Like,
yeah. Yeah. Whereas like math.
I read already. I read all the books.
Yeah.
I read the Bible like you asked.
But I remember there being one year where we did have a lot of snow days, and I remember it coming up of like, well, students, be careful what you wish for, because like 3 more snow days and we're going to have to make them up in the summer.
Right.
And I remember thinking like, what? You can't do that. I'll go to the judge.
They also like would frame it like that, like, well, it'll be your fault and it's you're fucking up your summer vacation. It's like, I don't control the weather.
A lot of our teachers, Tim, were also very superstitious and thought that all the things that we were doing, wearing our pajamas inside out and stuff, that was having a genuine effect.
That's true. And like, I think of it like now, like they would like almost taunt us with it, but it's like, you want to have your summer vacation too. That's the main perk.
I think a lot of the teachers at our school were taunting us with it because they were like, well, the joke's going to be on you because you're going to have more days here in the summer, and this whole school's full of perverts that would much rather see you guys in your summer clothes than your winter clothes. Again, that's just a specific joke about our school having a lot of perverts.
Yeah, the teachers.
The teachers were perverts.
A lot of the students were perverts.
We had as many student perverts as the next school, but the teachers, I think we were batting 1,000. Not 1,000.
No, not every teacher.
Not every teacher, but we had a higher average than normal, I think.
Yeah.
But anyway,
judging by the convictions, I would say.
Yeah. But yeah, I just remember that being such a thing, and looking, I don't know what their intention was, because they would tell us that, and it's like, I don't know when the last day of school is. if this year it's June 13th instead of June 12th, I would not know that.
Also, I'm smart enough to know now, was not at the time, the end of the year is bullshit anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last 3 weeks of school is like, it's like every other day is a half day. Like there's random days off. Everybody's checked out.
Yeah.
Sure, tack on 3 more of those days where everybody's just like waiting out the clock.
You don't have school today because other people have tests. Like, all right.
Love it.
And we need all the teachers to be proctors. Like that doesn't really make sense, but I'm not going to argue.
Yeah. School administration seems hard.
It seems hard, but it also seems like they probably do a lot of things in real stupid ways.
Yeah.
Because I never understood that.
I could do any job better than the person doing the job.
Why did they need more people to watch us taking a test than they did to teach us?
So we don't cheat.
People cheated anyway.
Well,
and it should have been
bad at their jobs.
And all the teachers had to do was look at everyone. They didn't have to do anything. They just had to look at everyone.
Sucks. Imagine having to look like, you sit in a room and be like, okay, just make sure nobody cheats. Where you just sit in silence for 60 minutes and just like be vigilant. That sucks.
I think the teachers like that more than teaching.
No,
not all of them, of course, but I think a lot of them.
Perverts, because you could stare at the students.
Yeah, they kept dropping pencils.
Could you imagine just being like, okay, just sit here and look at these people and make sure none of them cheat? Like you'd be like, but I should look at my phone.
Well, yeah, nowadays.
Nowadays, all our brains are broken.
Yeah, but back then it was like, I don't know, I'll just stare at the ceiling and think about, last night's episode of Matlock I watched.
You thought our teachers were watching Matlock?
Some of the old ones, yeah, for sure they were.
Our old teachers were not that old.
They would bring it up in lessons.
We thought they would.
Yeah, a lot of times they would. They'd bring it up in a lesson. This lesson reminds me a lot of last night's Matlock.
Was it some sort of like law class you were taking?
Yeah, it was law class that I was. Man, I remember in 6th grade, oh boy, being so mad at this teacher because I don't know what the fuck was going on, but she just, I think, did not want to teach anymore or something like that. And at some point decided like what we're going to do is have a mock trial in the classroom.
Okay.
And she just kind of made like, you know what it was? I think she was like, I'm going to take Tom, the most annoying kid in this class, and I'm going to make him have to be a lawyer against the smartest kid in the class.
Ooh, who is that?
I don't want to name names.
That's a first name.
I forget her last name. It's not somebody you would know that well.
Okay. You don't know who I know, but go on.
But I don't think you knew this person that well. You'd be like, oh, I know that name. Yeah. Like, but as somebody that was smart, not cool. But
I only know cool people.
Yeah. And I think the teacher arranged this solely so that like I could be humiliated.
Yeah.
This teacher did not like me, and that was fine. I didn't like her either. We had out for each other. And this mock trial.
I would do the same thing as a teacher. I'd like feud with a 6th grader.
This mock trial was okay. The plaintiff owns a rental property in a ski town, and they only use the house for a few months out of the year. And now the town has decided that that's the house isn't being used, so they're gonna take it and build a ski resort there.
Mm-hmm.
And my entire argument was, what does the contract say? But there was no contract or anything like that. So I had to just argue it doesn't matter how long my client lives there. He owns this place. You can't take it from, I think maybe it wasn't an ownership. I think maybe it was like a very long-term lease and they wanted to take it back. My thing was like, I'm sure there are provisions in the contract for what happens when that happens. And the teacher thought she was so clever, like, there's no contract. It's like, okay, then fuck you. I'm not leaving. Oh boy, this
you're so heated now.
This trial
this
still
teacher's
gets
long dead, I'm sure.
No, they weren't younger than me, but they were very young.
I wouldn't have believed you if you said your sixth grade teacher was younger than you.
She was certainly younger than I am now. Like, honestly.
Oh, I thought you meant at the time. Like, no, she's not dead. She's 34 years old now.
No, but she was not much. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, not much older than we were, than
right.
I was. Like, she was maybe 10 years older than me as a sixth grader.
That's not true.
She was right out of college. She was like 22, 23.
Who was this lady?
And like, yeah, it was insane. And then I think that's when I realized, like, you only have to be in the next grade above you to be able to teach that grade.
That's not
and like
true.
This woman could have had like a 7th grade education, and that was plenty for teaching
That's
6th
not
grade.
True.
And this wasn't part of the curriculum.
Why do you hate teachers?
Just this one. Tim, I got
a child could be a teacher. No, you have to like learn. You have to know how to teach people.
This woman didn't. She just said have a mock trial, and I'm not going to give you any kind of you know what?
She was trying to rattle you. And it's freaking 30 years later, and you're still rattled. She won.
Yeah, I guess she did. I think I did get held in contempt of court ultimately. And it was declared a mistrial as a result. If you like the show, you can find out more at tcgte.com. You can also inquire about my law services. But I have to warn you, I don't have anybody from Christmas Vacation in my ads. tcgt.com, you can find Patreon links. You can find our Discord link, our Reddit link. Or if you just want to go straight to our patreon.com/complete guide, you can find episodes of Books the Podcast, as well as we just finished a 3-part gauntlet series that's available to you. Tim, what's the new book we're reading?
Tom, it's the most Gumpterful time of the year. Mm-hmm. We're reading a book written by Forrest Gump himself.
What? He can't write? He's too stupid.
Yeah, did he ever write anything down in that movie? Does he know how to write?
He
wrote that whole book.
Yeah.
He wrote those 2 books.
He wrote those 2 books. They're written in his voice. But I feel like he wrote down maybe like the time to be somewhere once, something like that.
We're reading a book written by Tom Hanks. You're not reading it?
I'm not reading it. I might read it.
The making of another major motion picture masterpiece. This holiday season, we're giving Hanks.
Yeah.
To you, the patrons, if you sign up.
Yeah. Oh, it's nice to see this guy finally using some of those typewriters he's been collecting.
Not to spoil it, we haven't recorded the first episode. There is an egregious amount of typewriter content in this book. This is like, Tom, this is Tom Hanks. Oh, man.
It's going to be confusing.
This is Tom Hanks to a T.
Yeah. This book.
Yeah. And then we're going to, talk about it in Forrest Gump voices. That'll be the tie-in.
Patreon.com/complete guide if that sounds irresistible to you. Tim, any parting words on snow days?
I'm pro snow days. I really feel like due to technological advances, like we're not gonna like snow days aren't a thing anymore
unless they weigh down the wire so much that the internet goes out.
Yeah,
but then it's like, well, what the hell am I gonna do now? What good is having a day off?
I don't want to be this guy like back in the day.
Yeah,
but like back in the day, there were days where everybody just like took it easy. Yeah, and like I don't think anybody thinks that way anymore. We're just like, there's an act of God, there's a force of nature, and we're all just going to chill for a minute.
Yeah.
And we just don't do that. Except for like, remember a few years ago? It was probably like 10 years ago at this point when it was just like, it was after Hurricane Sandy.
Yeah.
And they're being like overly cautious about everything. And there was like a blizzard predicted for New York.
Oh, yeah.
And then they were like, starting at 9 p.m., you're not allowed to drive a car in New York City.
Yeah, and everybody was just kind of like, all right.
And then it literally did not snow one bit. Like, the blizzard completely missed us, and it was still like, don't you dare drive a car on the streets. It's like, it's a clear night.
Yeah. But everybody was still like, all right, you have to tell us twice. We'll stay.
Maybe not like cab drivers, though. Like,
that's true. Yeah, people had to do work. But
anyway, I think there should be some more mandated downtime for everybody, where it's just like,
it'd be nice. I mean, I don't think, except for the corporate overlords, nobody's demanding it. But unfortunately, they're running everything. So no more snow days. Thanks, Enron.
They're back.
They got a coin too. I'm thinking about trading some of my Haktua coin for it.
Oh, no, don't do that, Tom.
Yeah, you're right.
Diamond hands, my friend.
I got to hold on to that.
See you next week.
We'll see you next week.
That was a HeadGum podcast.